everybody, E here. Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to Stephen King Ranked. Let's just jump right into it. And at number 20, we have Stephen King's newest novella collection, If It Bleeds. I will warn you right up front, I have missed some books in this list. Sorry, my apologies. I have missed some books in this list, so I have a plan to fix this problem. And also there was this new book that I had to add to it. I am going to work on one more video after the finale, and that will clear up any problems, and it'll be an easy place for everyone to go to check out the rankings all in one video. So just bear with me. Let me get all that cut up together. Let me get that up. But until that time comes, we're just going to have to deal with some missing stuff until I get that other video made. This is... I warred with this for quite some time, whether or not it was my favorite novella collection or not. There's only one more novella collection on this list, and I'm sure you guys know what it is, and I just could not bring myself to say that this one was better than that one. And the reasoning for it is, although I love this, I love new Stephen King, I love the more literary side of Stephen King, I feel that other collection is everything that I love about Stephen King also, and it has one of my favorite novellas of all time in it. And I think If It Bleeds, the title story of this one, is a close second to that one. But anyways, this one is a fantastic story. I know there's been a lot of people upset with Mr. Harrigan's Phone, a lot of people upset with Life of Chuck, saying it didn't do anything for them, and I completely understand that. There seems to be 2 to 3 different tribes of Stephen King fans. You have the ones who love absolutely everything, you have the ones who hate everything of his after he stopped focusing wholly on horror, and then you have us in the middle who are critical of King when he's bad, and we're even critical when he's good, but then also we end up fanboying when he hits the mark. And this one, sorry to say, man, he hit the mark. And I'm not sorry to say. It's just it's my honest opinion. But this one, I would suggest you give it some time, and I suggest that if you're going to read the title story, to read the entire Mercedes trilogy and to read The Outsider before you read If It Bleeds, because if you don't, first off, If It Bleeds is going to spoil a whole load of stuff for you, so is The Outsider if you don't read the Mercedes trilogy first. But it's such a journey with Holly Gibney, and I'm so happy that he finally gave her the attention that she deserves. She's a fantastic character. If you don't like her, whatever, go on. And I do hope that we get more from her. I know a lot of King fans are going, I'm tired of Holly Gibney. I am not tired of her. I'd be perfectly content, perfectly honest with you, I'd be completely content if every single one of his books from here on out featured that character. Rat is another one, but I think I loved Rat as much as I did because I'm a writer. I've never struggled with writer's block. I don't believe in it, but I know people do. It's kind of like, people believe in God, I don't believe in God. It's whatever. You're going to believe whatever you want to. I do understand that there are, religious people in the world, just like I understand there are people who suffer from what they call writer's block. But I think he offered more solidarity in Rat for people struggling with writing than he did in the entirety of On Writing. And yes, that book will be on this list. But yeah, so this is number 20, If It Bleeds. That was number 15. I told you, y'all, this list is a mess right now. So that was number 15, and Douma McKee is number 14. I completely spaced, and I apologize. We're going to fix it, though. We're going to fix it by the end. This book is fantastic. It has notes of Pet Sematary. It has notes of all of the literary King that I've come to love. It has all those creepy King elements while not being a horror novel. It is a novel of literary fiction that is absolutely fantastic about this man who is maimed in an accident and how it changes his entire life. He moves down to Florida and ends up painting, and it's just the book's fantastic. More and more nowadays, I am seeing more people come to appreciate this book than they ever did when he first released it. This is just after the trilogy of trash. You know, we got Lisi's story, we got Douma McKee, we got that, you know, we got those fantastic novels. But he had changed after his accident. Completely changed after his accident and went a completely different direction with his fiction. And it took some people a while, especially me. I fell out of love with him after the trilogy of trash, and it was years before I read him again. But it changed a lot of people's viewpoints, and you know, with me, I had to mature quite a bit before I could appreciate what he was doing. And then when I went back and read those horror novels that he wrote all those years ago, I realized that the best part of those horror novels wasn't the horror. It was the characters. He'd been doing this whole time. It wasn't until he put the horror on the back burner that I truly appreciated those other books. And it started with me falling in love with Douma McKee. Now, I don't think I liked this book very much the first time that I read it. Of course I didn't. I was stupid and I was young. As you know, many of us are, most of us, all of us, if I'm honest. We're just not the brightest. We don't know a whole hell of a lot, and it takes a bit of life experience before you can appreciate something like this, especially with me having injured my back in 2005. Since then, I've had 5 back surgeries, 2005, 2008, 2011, 2014, and then they fixed me in 2016. They put a cage around my back. But anyways, so having injured myself and having to change everything about my lifestyle, because I was a very active person, even though I've been fat my whole life, I was a very active person up until then. And there was a time where I was bedridden. I was literally in bed, could not leave the bed for 2 years. I had to relearn how to walk twice. After the 3rd and 4th surgery, I had to go to rehab to relearn how to walk. And luckily, I am walking again. So all of that stuff has made me appreciate this. So when I reread this in 2015, when I did my complete read-through, chronological read-through of his work, it gave me a much better appreciation for what Edgar goes through in this book. So I would say if you haven't read it since it first came out, or you haven't read it at all, definitely give it a shot. So yeah, this is number 14, Douma McKee. And at number 13 is a book that has dropped several spots. It was in my top 5. If you go to my channel and you see the top 5 Stephen King books up on that list, you will see this book in that top 5. It's actually my channel trailer right now. I don't know what I'm going to put in its place. It's also one of my most viewed videos, so I might just leave it. But a lot has changed with how I do my videos. If you've been a fan of the channel for any length of time, you know that I've changed several times how I do things. But yeah, so at number 13 is Bag of Bones. The only reason why this changed so drastically is because, again, how I built this list was I went through the books that I wanted to read and which books I wanted to read before I wanted to read other ones. Now, is it because I've read this one so recently? I don't know. I did reread it when they came out with this edition, which, stay away from this. It's $30, and there's like a 9-page interview in the back, and yeah, so the, what is it, the 20th anniversary, I think it is, and then they put this ugly mint thing around it, and that's all they did. It's literally just a re-release in hardcover of this with an interview tacked on to the end. But yeah, I reread it again right when I got it, and I loved it, but what I'm thinking is because I've read it so recently that I've ended up changing my mind where, yeah, I do want to read it again and it'd be high up on the list in the top 20 easily, but not so much, you know? It's one of those books where I think it only calls for 1 or 2 readings, and this is the 3rd time that I've read it, so while I love it, I am starting to get a bit, yeah, I'm starting to skim more than I used to, that kind of thing. So I definitely had to put the other books that are on this list above this one, but it's still easily in my top 20. My favorite part of the book, kind of a spoiler, is when the lady is, well, I don't want to talk about that, but it's the twist, because I thought they were gonna, I should have known, because this is Stephen King, but I thought everyone was gonna live happily ever after a certain point, and that did not happen, and that's my favorite part of the book. So yeah, at number 13 we have Bag of Bones, and at number 12 we have The Stand. Yeah, you know, this book is fantastic. I will say the middle is kind of bloated. I am currently rereading reading for the first time the cut version, because this is the only version that I had ever read up until that point. But this one, there's so much that I love about it. I can honestly ignore the stuff that's in the middle with all the town rebuilding. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one other than I absolutely love the way it starts. The ending is, yes, sillier than a clown orgy, but what you gonna do, man? It's the theme of the entire book, and I've come to realize that even though it is as goofy as it is, it fits within the context of the story. So what are you gonna do? My favorite character in here, still to this day, is Nick. I mean, he's one of my favorite Stephen King characters of all time. He's in my top 5. So anytime him and Tom get together is an absolute treat, and his fate devastates me every time I read it. But yeah, so at number 12 we have The Stand. And at number 11, the last book of the week, we have Misery. This one, this is another one I get a lot of flack for, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, but again, I actually prefer to watch the movie over the book, even though the hodling scene in the book is a hell of a lot more terrifying and upsetting than it is in the movie. Some people disagree with me. Some people say that the sledgehammer is worse than the axe. I don't feel that. But this one, I love every single bit of this. I especially love Misery's return, the stuff that he wrote in manuscript form in here, just like I like the ending of Gerald's Game for the same reason. I think that it fits in the context of the story, because in this one you're dealing with a writer and showing how that writer writes, showing a piece of that story is fantastic. And also you get to watch a writer figure out how they are going to bring back a character from the dead. It's very soap opera-ish, of course, but how they are going to work out getting a character back from the dead after they are definitely 100% dead and they never want to write about them again. Now, the only reason why I prefer the movie to the book is because the movie is so well done, but it encapsulates everything that I love about it, so I can get through the movie quicker than I can get through the book, even though this isn't a very long book. But I love it for, again, I love it for all the same reasons that I loved Gerald's Game. I think it's a succinct experience. Someone trapped in the bed for a long period of time. It's also what I love about Stephen King is he can redo one of his earlier concepts and make it even better, or he can completely change it to where there's two completely different scenarios and they both have different themes, but it's like the same setup. You know what I mean? I probably didn't say that right, but that's how I feel about these books. I feel these two books are great companions, Gerald's Game and Misery. But of course, man, this is a classic. There's going to be a lot of talk about, you know, why it's this far down, because this is a lot of people's gateway drug to Stephen King. On top of that, it's a lot of people's favorite Stephen King novel. But yeah, it's my number 11, Misery. So that's it for this week. Are any of your favorites on this list? Are any of your least favorites way up here in the top 20? Let me know down there in the doobly-doo. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another Stephen King Ranked. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!